Hey peeps, Pinkle16 here on a surprise video series. I actually planned this for a long period of time before Starman 3's channel got shut down. So basically, I had 3 projects that were probably going to be done on this channel. The first one was the most obvious, Starman 3 commentaries. And I was going to go through every video up until Roblox Goes Crazy 27. Which included Skype randomness skits, among every single other thing. Keep in mind, I'm still going to do the Skype conversation battles, the reminiscences, because 1, I still have the files for those, 2, they're not exactly dead. They weren't on Starman 3's channel, they were on another channel. So I can still commentate over those. They were a sub-project of the Starman 3 one, but since Starman 3's channel is gone, thankfully, my other 2 projects can come to fruition. The second one, if you haven't noticed already, is the SMG4 commentaries, which are proving how his videos can be better by showing the videos that were good and showing how his newer videos can be better. The third project, I never told anybody about, and it was going to be a small project to show that I wasn't necessarily going to be so hypocritical as to not criticize myself. I'm pretty sure you would think it's obvious by the title of this video, but I am commentating over my own videos. I'm going to commentate on the ones that I think are canon, as I know which ones are canon. And I will not be afraid to take jabs at myself whenever I made some sort of masking mistake or something like that, but it won't be to the extreme that Starman 3 did, because most of the videos I made did not fall into the pitifulness that he had. So the first video I'm going to do, which was the first video I released, is Super Mario 64 Adventures Episode 1, which I just simply named Introduction. I didn't particularly have any names for it because I didn't intend it to be anything big. I did not intend it to be some sort of pilot like Starman 3 called Blooper 1, but it was only meant to be a very small introduction into the series before I would start making the stories. There was a small story going on, but there is a small bunch of nothing that just happens. So let's just watch the 5 minutes of the video that I created back in May of 2013. Keep in mind, this is going to happen a lot because I did not know how to make a video at the time that was widescreen without destroying the aspect ratio, which would probably crop out the shots here, which I'm not particularly fond of. By the way, if this part of the video looks a little noobish, especially considering we can see opacity here, this was the very first video I ever made in Sony Vegas. Not even the announcement video I made prior to this was made in Windows Movie Maker. The first video I ever made in Sony Vegas was my very first intro. So that's why it looks so noobish. It does look pretty bad, especially with the fact that I don't have text consistency. Because like I went from pink and purple to blue and pink in the fraction of a second. Nowadays, I don't have that code where Mario looks to the sides. I don't have that anymore. But I did not have that at the time, so it just really looks really awkward. I really don't like when the Mario heads look from side to side like that. Sure, it's fine in a game environment, but in a machinima, it just looks weird to see a person just constantly looking left, right, center every single time. Now, one thing you might ask is, why did you use custom characters instead of other machinists? I wanted to do something different, and at the time, and especially continuing into now, lots of people tend to use famous machinists in unrealistic situations, as in these machinists somehow know them as if they're best friends, like they're just roommates or something and they've just known them forever. And it's kind of hard to assert that for someone who's supposedly famous or something. So I wanted to make it seem more like it was closer to home, like especially since another reason, which was definitely one of the reasons at the time I didn't use people like Starman 3 or Mario 55321. I wasn't particularly brave with using other people's color codes without so much permission. I was in YTR by the time I'd made this, of course, but I was still fairly timid and I did not want to do something wrong by putting someone else's color code in the video. And again, with the unrealistic expectations of, let's have this famous guy in the video just because you'll be able to recognize him, it doesn't feel right. So I thought that having custom characters as placeholders in the beginning might be able to help draw my courage out for later videos. And eventually, Jinder and, who you'll see in a moment, Akin, have developed into their own characters, so because I grew fond of them. Also, that text opacity there with Jinder's name was really terrible. That's kind of music synced. I did not intend that. The reason why Akin says this, and others, hopefully not too many, is because again with the I'm going to put other machinists in at later dates thing, and I did not know how many people I was going to put in since I thought this was going to be my main series. SM64 Adventures, confirmed by me, is going to be ending soon. After I'm done with Curse of Invincibility Frames, which I'll commentate on at a later date, this series will have its conclusion. For my next upcoming one, I was kind of pressed for ideas when I was trying to think of what I should do to just introduce a couple of concepts. I didn't think this was going to be just so badly tested, but I wanted to test to see if it would work properly. I had this underlying assumption while I was making it that what I was doing wasn't exactly good enough, so I was just going to test it and see, even though I had this very prominent feeling of this isn't right, you shouldn't be doing it. So yeah, it was just an idea I had, and it's pretty terrible. Also, if you're going to criticize me for using Super Mario 64 in the title when Mario does not appear in the series at all, I did not intentionally. After a while I had to think about that because I realized, oh yeah, Mario's not in this series. And then I realized, wait, I'm using Super Mario 64 the place because dimensions, and that ties into my series' logic. That's generally what I tend to use Super Mario 64 for, including for the Curse of Invincibility Frames. This naming convention will end once I'm done with this stuff. That's exactly why I'm ending it. Among other reasons. I've actually got a code now to completely erase that, so it's just, I feel really stupid seeing the power meter there. It's really jarringly distracting. Ironically, this character, this color code of mine is supposed to represent me in universe. What doesn't fit is the fact that I say swimming is fun when it's not to me. So that's just really out of character. You can see some SM64 coding here! That's how fun. Yeah, this was a really terrible idea, and I'm fully aware of it. I had the idea that I would go to the fish, and then it would go into the Pokemon is scene. Thing is, I didn't have a screen recorder for an emulator at the time, so I just used my, I just wanted to use my specific Pokemon Diamond ROM and as you can see, I had to face the Magikarp in there so then I could get the theme to work, but it obviously didn't work, and I feel so stupid for doing that right now. Anytime I look at this video to look at that, I just look back at that with cringe. This is some nice editing. In the preview, it looked like that the pink, that all that top bit was was like slightly below, and it wasn't. I really wanted to make these characters conscious of what they are in the beginning. Jinder is supposed to, and especially this will be prominent in later videos, he's supposed to be the one that looks up to me the most in terms of how he acts. So he wants to act smart, he wants to act all that kind of stuff. That's why I have him in several videos, because he wants to aspire to be similar to me. Akin is meant to be serious at times, but mostly a joke. Like, he knows when to be serious, but when it's not so, he'll just be a dumb idiot. I actually plan to explain both their newly developed backstories once I get the chance to. So, these two will have explanations that will definitely tie into this video, which is why I said when I look back at it with cringe, because I have to look back at this stuff so then I can tie it into the scripts. I have to look back at the video specifically because sometimes I change the script from when it's from the Word document. I don't change it in the Word document itself. It's kind of like beta scripting. As you can see, I had rice at the time, considering I've also practically gotten rid of the M on everyone's heads before I made the video, but I didn't exactly use it to its fullest extent. And by the way, this here, Jinder, I'm going to put an annotation here, but Jinder does not know what is actually going to happen, but he's just coincidentally right. I know that sounds really stupid, but that was the point of the story, to just introduce a couple of ideas. Yeah, I know, that's really stupid. He's just waiting there for the thing to hit him. I think he was probably just admiring the fact that he has lava boots now, but it's really stupid the fact that he just had to sit there, not staring at the fireball coming at him. Though, it probably would have been more stupid if he was staring at the fireball itself, which I'm kind of glad that I didn't do that. Yeah, by the way, in case anyone's wondering, he doesn't know that actually happened. He thought it did, and it is true, but he doesn't know that. So the reason why he says yeah is because he's pondering, he thinks it's not true. Like, he thinks it's not true. He pondered a potential situation, thought it wasn't true, and then decided to go into his own room. So he's like, yeah, that won't happen. But, like, that's actually happening right now, and he has no idea. It's coincidentally stupid. I'm not gonna put myself in high heels for that. I overused this song to ridiculous extents. Intentionally, Toad was meant to talk because the thing is, I keep thinking that the Toads are kind of like spirits. They just haunt the castle because they're just there, and I can't exactly get rid of the Toads, so they're just like, I'm here, and all that. So I thought they were gonna be actual characters, but I ditched that way later into most of the other videos as dev. So Toad's only line is here, because I don't exactly want to destroy the canon of several characters. Mario and Luigi I'm totally fine with, but otherwise, nah. You can only assume it's me because they're the only I'm the only third character in the video. Basically think of this as like a normal everyday house life video because there's no way in hell we know anybody yet. This is kind of referencing how devious I can be sometimes. It's really only a joke. I really don't like these kinds of scenes now. By their mine, he means the ones on the top of the castle. And because there's 3 on the top of the castle, 3, 1 for each character, that's what I mean here. I wanted to do a zooming in shot and obviously it failed. The reason why I said I don't know, but I will if I have to, is because later on I want to tie this into some kind of script line. And I am going to when I clarify on Jinder's background. Because that kind of ties into what will happen into my series in the future. Even though it's just a meaningless line. In a very meaningless conversation. Nice cutting, me! That's just terrible. Nowadays I wouldn't even think of doing such a shot. I love how you can't see Jinder up here at all because I can't film. Now if you want to know what these are, it's because this was meant to be a type of blooper series where the random moments would just be some random skits at the end that had no context or relation to the current video at all. It was just meant to be some random idea that was supposed to be funny at the end of the video that was meant to be played for jokes. That's why I call them the random moment, because it literally is a random moment. You come to the end of the video and then you come to the random moment. More like the end skit. Oh, by the way, I edited all these color codes, so now they're not like this anymore. Oh yeah, this was supposed... Okay, this skit, you may not understand this, but everyone prior and even after this video consistently have had problems either saying or spelling my username. I don't exactly know why, because it is just pink O lol. It's not exactly too hard to spell. 2 O's, 2 L's, and a pink, and a 16 at the end. It's not exactly the hardest thing in the world, but a lot of people actually tend to have serious problems in spelling my name, so I decided to show the most prominent ones with some noobs here. This is pretty much why I made all these characters say all these things. Also, I'm gonna have a voice clip that was recorded by my camera and really horribly done. I did not record it with my microphone, and thus it sounds like it came out of a potato. By the way, this color code is actually a Gararison, and this will be clarified in a later a later video. Because also, a later story I'm going to tie into this skit, particularly. They still happen, even if they're just comedic moments. They're just not directly after the video or something. There's just some random moment. Maybe it happened before the video, maybe it happened after. Most likely after, though. That's some nice editing. It's text lag.
god, guys!
See, I'm recording out of a potato!
It's not pink lol or pink lol or anything like that. It's pink lol 16.
Now that was just meant to be some random jerk face, destroying me. By the way, if you want to know why the heck my voice is so high, I was, like, what? 15 years old at the time? I was a child.
Just shut up. Just shut up.
Says the one recording from a potato. I'll see you in my next video. See y'all, have a good day, peace.